Hello, everybody. Everybody should be in mute mode, but I just want to say welcome to IA's webinar on how to obtain a state proclamation. I just wanted to give you a heads up that it is going to be recorded today, so we can use it on our Smart Irrigation Month YouTube channel. So I will introduce our presenter here in just a sec, but I just have a few housekeeping tidbits that I want to go through. One, I'm Noreen Rich. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager for the Irrigation Association. As I mentioned, the webinar will be recorded. Also, we currently have everybody on mute mode, and that we will be having a short question and answer session at the end. So we ask that you go ahead and submit some questions via the chat box if you don't want to forget it, and then I'll bring it up later. Or we will open it up later for just comments as a whole. So as well as we apologize for the delay in kind of the approval process, so thanks for bearing with us. So let me go ahead and make sure everybody can see my screen and then get an appropriate view. Okay. So today we are going to be, the session is going to be led by Lowell Kaufhold, who is the current chair for the Irrigation Association's Smart Irrigation Month Committee. He is the president of CPS Distributors based out of Westminster, Colorado. And then Chad Forsey is our IA State Affairs Director. He has a scheduling conflict, but will be joining us shortly, or in a little bit if he can. He was primarily going to serve as a resource for any kind of tips and tricks about working with the state government agencies. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentation off to Lowell so he can go ahead and manage his own slides. And there you go.
Okay, I'm looking where I need to add my screen. So
it should be up in the top right, show my application or show my screen.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm not getting it to come up. Sorry about that. I am not seeing it come up on my screen right now, so I'm not sure. Can you see the screen at this point?
I do see, looks like a screensaver. Now I see the actual presentation. Looks like.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. I
can go ahead and pull it up on mine, and then just I'll kind of follow along, and you can cue me if I need to go ahead and move forward.
Why don't we do that? That would work. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and take it back. Let's see. Make sure. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go to the full presentation mode. So we're going to go ahead, and here we are.
Okay, well, I apologize for the little bit of a delay, but it sounds like we're getting things on track. So are we at the beginning there, Kathleen?
Yeah, Noreen, okay. We're here at the What is Smart Irrigation Month slide.
Gotcha. So my name is Lowell Kaufhold. I'm with CPS Distributors. We're a wholesale irrigation distributor in Colorado, and we've been in business for well over 100 years. Not that that's real important, but I think really what is important and what I wanted to share right out of the gates here this afternoon was CPS really decided about, I think it was about 4 years ago, we learned about Smart Irrigation Month here at our distributorship, and we were intrigued about the opportunity to do something from a water conservation standpoint. So we decided to get involved, and in my typical style, as I got involved, I wound up joining the IA board so that I could really get a feel for what's going on with the industry and really what's going on with this particular initiative. So it's been a very valuable thing for me, not only to get involved in the beginning, but also just the recognition that our company has received from being involved with Smart Irrigation Month, and we're being kind of viewed as the leader in our market area because of our involvement. And I think that's kind of an important point to make as we get started here. So Smart Irrigation Month is, it's to educate businesses, homeowners, growers, and others about efficient water use. It's such an important issue, and it's top of mind for most municipalities in America. Encourage industry firms and professionals to promote smart irrigation practices and technologies, and obviously partner with state leadership to proclaim July as Smart Irrigation Month. Those are some of the key things that we're doing as a board here. So we can go to the next. One of the things that I think everyone asks themselves is, why should I get a proclamation? Why should I make the effort? Really, and I can only speak for myself and what's gone on with CPS, but when we got involved and we reached out to the state of Colorado for a proclamation, it was really a springboard for the awareness in our state. It established our company as a leader in the marketplace, and what we found immediately is, as we started to use the IA press release that we had received the proclamation, media outlets, our local trade associations, we had several municipalities reach out to us, and we also started promoting Smart Irrigation Month to our contractors, using the proclamation as a, kind of a key initiative that we were able to obtain. And it got a lot of people very interested in Smart Irrigation Month in our marketplace on many levels. So it was very important for us, and I think that's something to keep in mind as we kind of move forward here, and you decide to make an effort to help out with this particular initiative. So the state proclamation process is different from state to state. At CPS, we service two marketplaces, Colorado and Wyoming, and both of these processes were totally different. And you can kind of see here on the map, we've outlined a few different ways that states are recognizing proclamations. Just something to keep in mind, that your state will be different likely than somebody else's. So what we want to do now is kind of talk a little bit about Colorado and what we did in Colorado, and kind of that may help you kind of understand a little bit about the process, which, by the way, in Colorado wasn't very involved. However, the Wyoming one was. So let's talk a little bit about Colorado. First of all, we wanted the first thing you want to do is contact the IA and kind of get your hands on the verbiage that you would want to use in trying to obtain a proclamation. And the language is listed there on the IA website, irrigation.org/proclamation, and that's a good place to start, because that will get you the language that will get the attention of your state or city municipalities. Here is a sample on this slide. The language that the state will want to see has a lot of whereases and therefores in it. So what we did at CPS was we took what Chad had sent us and what we were able to get off the website, and then we put it in a Word document, and we tweaked it a little bit to make it fit for what Colorado was asking us to do, and you'll find a very similar process. But the great thing is this verbiage has been written for us by the IA, and it makes it very easy to use this particular document as a way to apply for your proclamation. In Colorado, it's as simple for us was to go out to the website, which is the Colorado State website, and we found a button that said apply for proclamations, and this is what we got. The screen here is showing exactly what we looked at when we first went on to apply, and it just kind of goes through a step-by-step. It has the proclamation guidelines and what you need to do, and so what we did was went into this form that they make available online and filled out this form with the language that was provided, and then told the state a little bit about our organization and what we are and what we do. And of course, then the language went in, and then my personal information went in as well. And we hit submit, and off it went to cyberspace. So we weren't really sure what happened after that. So we can go to the next slide there. So really what I wanted to do was follow up with a phone call to the state. And in Colorado, we called the Office of Constituent Services, and we were able to reach them and say, hey, we weren't sure about whether our proclamation had come through, and just to kind of follow up. And we were able to confirm that they did receive the language and they were looking at it at this point. Now, this was 2 years ago that we applied for the first proclamation. So we waited about 4 or 5 weeks, and then we actually received an email from the state. And if you want to keep an eye on your email if you go through this process, and just make sure that you're catching it and it doesn't float into the emails that we all get. We get so many. Sometimes we kind of have to screen, but we did receive this an acceptance from the state of Colorado, and we were able to reply to that, and we asked if we could pick the proclamation up in person at the state capitol. And of course that was fine with them, and we picked that up at the Office of Constituent Services, and voila, we had our proclamation in hand. That's a sample of it there on the screen. Once we receive the proclamation, one of the next things you really need to think about is, what do I do with this now? Now that I've got it, and what do we do with it? And for us, the first thing to do is to contact the IA and the Smart Irrigation Month Committee, and the IA will put together a press release that will allow you to use this press release as a third party, to say, hey, this proclamation was attained for your state, and this press release now can be sent to your local trade associations. Our local trade association is ALCC. That's the Associated Landscape Contractors of Colorado. If you're in ag, you can obviously contact your local agricultural association and let them know. In our case, we're turf distributors, so we also the Association of Landscape Architects. We also have an organization in Colorado that's called WaterWise, and this is the organization for all the water purveyors in the state of Colorado. And then our big organization that oversees all of our green industry in Colorado is called GreenCo. So once we reached out to these organizations, they did a great job of taking the press release and running with it and putting it out there, so people were seeing what was going on and seeing that the state was behind this idea that we needed to use water more wisely, and that the Smart Irrigation Month was our vehicle for that. So it was very effective. It worked very well for us. Now we kind of talk a little bit here on what CPS did to promote the proclamation. Of course, we did reach out to all of the organizations like I discussed in the previous slide, and we also went through the process of putting it in our e-newsletter. We've been sending an e-newsletter to our contractor base and to our market area for about 4 years, and it went into, we made that front and center with our e-newsletter. We also participate in Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and other social media outlets, and we made a big deal out of it that way. We also made a lot of signage for point of sale where we sell our products. We added it, and we added the Smart Irrigation Month logo and wrote an article about the proclamation when we sent out our mailers. We do barbecue counter days with our contractors and promote it there. And we also held a irrigation specifier event at our organization, and that was irrigation and landscape consultants and architects, and we were able to reach out and let them know about this particular initiative. And what we've been doing over the past 3 years is continuing to build more and more interest in Colorado, and as you can see, the more we put it out there, the more people are interested, and the more momentum that we're gaining here in Colorado. When we went to Wyoming, Wyoming was totally different. There was no way to go onto a website to apply for a proclamation, so we wound up pulling off phone numbers off the Wyoming's website and we had to make several phone calls to kind of find the right person. And what we found is we needed to be in touch with the office manager of the governor's office, and that was our final contact, and we were able to reach out to that person in that office. Next slide, please. And the office manager sent us instructions, and they kind of had their little way of going about what they wanted to see from us. So this is a list of the things that they wanted. They were interested in the proclamation from Colorado. They were interested in the press release that we had obtained from Colorado, and we sent the language, obviously, that we had obtained from the IA. And it took about, I would say about 7 or 8 weeks for Wyoming to get back to us and actually issue the proclamation, but it was much more of a manual process than it was an automated process. So you, in your particular state, may run into some different types of challenges and or systems to overcome in order to obtain a proclamation. So, you know, you ask yourself, where do you go to learn more about Smart Irrigation Month, and how do I learn more about how do I promote Smart Irrigation Month? And here's, you know, obviously the IA is the spot to go to. There is a specific website for Smart Irrigation Month, and it is listed there. The first one listed is Smart Irrigation Month, and you just click on that, and you can go into that and really find a lot of different resources that you can use in your own company, and you can, you know, put a kind of a plan together, if you will, for how is my organization going to promote and get behind this initiative. So there's obviously the SIM logo, newsletter, articles, public service announcement, press release templates, statement stuffers, sample proclamations, webinar featuring success stories and ideas. So there's a lot of good information there, and it's a really great place to start. So, and our next slide. So what we wanted to do is outline what the processes were, and that's kind of what we've done today. I would like to mention that jumped on that, the proclamation itself, and decided they wanted to do something on a local level. And the Colorado Springs here in our state also held an event that they had all the public come in, and they educated the public on what Smart Irrigation Month was, and they kind of had an afternoon at one of their facilities, as well as the Northern Colorado Water Conservancy District as well jumped on board and said, hey, we want to make the public aware of what is going on with the IA and with Smart Irrigation Month. So a lot of traction going on in Colorado right now, and all of that traction really wouldn't have been able to get going what we did without obtaining the proclamation from the state and showing that support for the state. So that's what we had today, and just wanted to do a quick kind of webinar here for all of you out there to let you know what we did, and that it is not a very difficult thing to do, and it's something that we would love to see a lot more states come on board. We had 10 last year, and we'd really like to see 20-plus states issue the proclamation, and the more states we get, the more momentum we're going to have. So that's what I have for today. And Noreen, have we gotten any questions that we need to answer?
I'm looking through it now, and I mean, I have one I think that may be helpful for people is, so this is the process about getting an initial proclamation, and some states may already have it, but moving forward, is it easier to I guess, continue to get a proclamation year after year, or have you found that experience to be just as equally, I guess, as involved?
Yeah, I can speak to Colorado. The second one was kind of a slam dunk. It was very easy. As a matter of fact, we received the proclamation in just a couple of weeks after we applied, and I think it was easy for Colorado just to say, hey, we supported this last year. It seemed to have hit some sort of short list, and we received it immediately. And we will reach out to Wyoming earlier this year, and I fully expect Wyoming will be much easier this year as well. So the answer to your question is, it seems as though that once you get the first proclamation, the subsequent proclamation seems to be very easy after that. So.
Okay. We have a few more questions that came in from the actual audience. One question is, would it carry more if we first seeked a proclamation locally and then took it statewide?
I think that's a possibility. I think whatever would work in your state to start to generate interest is a great way to go. So I really don't think there's maybe a right way or a wrong way there. I think that every state's a little bit different. I know we've had some trouble with the state of California coming out and doing a full-blown proclamation, and there have been other states that have been hesitant to, and of course there's been some states that just jumped all over it. So whatever you can do on a local level to generate interest is obviously a great thing to do. So I guess I would answer that question yes, and it's always great to chase the state proclamation as well.
And let me see, I think Chad Forsey, who's our State Affairs Director, may have just hopped online. Chad, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Any chance? I didn't know if you had a chance to hear this last question that Lowell was kind of addressing, but it was whether or not it's beneficial to seek a local proclamation before trying to take it statewide. Do you have any experience with that or any insight?
I think that the state proclamation should be our first priority. Now, we have pursued local proclamations, and we did it last year, and successfully so. So I think that within the context of getting that state proclamation, it's great to go for local proclamations as well. And sometimes the process for getting a local proclamation can be really easy, particularly if you, as an IA member, live in the city that is considering a local proclamation, and perhaps you have connection to somebody on the city council or the mayor's office, or it's just an easy stop for you during your day or phone call. It can be a relatively easy thing to do without as much of the formality that's sometimes involved in getting a state proclamation achieved, such as filling out the online form or faxing information in or emailing or making phone calls. It can be sometimes as easy as just slipping the text to the mayor if you happen to be at a town meeting, or if he's a client of yours, and that's been the case in the past. So, and I think to answer the question, I think the state proclamation is the number one priority. And in that context of getting that state proclamation, if there are cities or municipalities where you can get it done, we're happy to help you do it.
Okay, great. Another question came in about if there is a list somewhere that shows which states have had proclamations in the past. I think I'm fairly confident that it's on the website, but I don't want to try to go navigate to that right now since I'm sharing my screen. Lowell, do you know, is it on the website?
Yeah, we've had the states listed in the past on the website. I believe it's on there now. We can obviously double check that and make sure that if you go to the Smart Irrigation Month website that you're seeing it there. One of the things that Chad brought up about your local area, we may want to touch on that. One of the reasons that we want individuals that live in their states to apply is because we really don't have any success with somebody from Colorado applying for a proclamation in another state. We do reside in Wyoming, and that's why we were able to get the Wyoming one. But I don't think it would be achieved if I applied for the Utah one out of Colorado after I list my personal information I think it's very important that we have someone that resides in the state asking for the proclamation, so we want to make sure we do that as well. So we'll make sure that the states that have proclaimed are listed on the website if they're not now, but I'm pretty sure they're on there.
And actually, I just happen to have a copy of something I'm reviewing, and I do know the 10 states that in 2013 did have proclamations were Colorado, Delaware, Idaho, Indiana, Missouri, New Jersey, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Virginia, and Wyoming. And then there were Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Denver, and then Greeley, Colorado actually did some as well. But we'll cross-check to make sure they're listed. Are there any other questions? I'm kind of going through the dashboard here, and I don't see any questions, additional questions at this point. Let me just make sure there aren't any hands raised as well. Okay, I think I am clear on my end. Lowell?
Okay, well, I really appreciate anyone's and everyone's effort in reaching out and really starting to springboard your local area, your local state for the sake of, you know, the Smart Irrigation Month initiative, and to, you know, further our initiative to create a much more awareness out of being a smart irrigation person and or water conservation in general. So we very much appreciate your support. You have my email on this particular webinar and was stated there, and I welcome anyone that would like to contact me after the fact. And of course, Chad was a very important resource for me in the early going, so reach out to the IA, reach out to the SIM committee, reach out to me personally, but we would love to be able to support you and help you in your efforts. So in that vein, we thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, everybody, and as Lowell said, just let us know if you have any questions, and we are always here to help out. So thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks, Noreen.
Thanks.
Thanks, Noreen.